Alright, what is going on YouTube? And today we got a brand new Quickscoping for Christ episode. And this episode is going to be the last World War II episode on this channel. Or at least for now. We are ending our World War II segment of our Call of Duty tour in preparation for Duality 3. I have all the clips I need for Duality 3 on this game now. And quite frankly, I feel like this game has run its course with me. You know, I don't know, I call it Call of Duty Grenade Warfare because that's just kind of what it's been. But more on that later. We're going to start this episode with today's reading, which comes from 1 Corinthians, and specifically 1 Corinthians chapter 6. I'm going to read a large segment, but the verse that we'll be focusing on today is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19. So the book of 1 Corinthians was written by the Apostle Paul, and it was written to the church of the city of Corinth, which was a church comprised primarily of Gentiles, which is what many of the viewers watching this probably are, unless I have a decent Jewish following. But Gentile just referred to a non-Jew at the time of the Bible, which would be many of the other people of the world at the time. Because back then, you know, Jews were like a lineage chosen by God, and then you've probably heard the saying, first for the Jew and then the Gentile. Just means that in the Old Testament, the Jews were God's chosen people, the descendants of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, David. Anybody familiar with the Old Testament knows what I'm talking about. But anyway. It was written, it's a book of, you know, good, godly living lessons to the people of the Church of Corinth. And the segment we're going to be focusing on is his segment on sexual immorality. But we won't, go, super deep into that just because I don't know if that's permissible with YouTube's, terms and conditions. I don't want to get the video striked due to, you know, adult content or whatever. But I'm just going to read this whole segment real quick. Everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible for me, but I will not be mastered by anything. Food for the stomach and then the stomach for food, but God will destroy them both. The body is not meant for sexual immorality, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. By His power, God raised the Lord from the dead, and He will raise us also. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ Himself? Shall I take the members of Christ and unite them with a prostitute? Never. Do you not know that he who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her in body? For it is said, the two will become one flesh, but he who unites himself with the Lord is one with Him in spirit. Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a man commits are outside his body, but he who sins sexually sins against his own body. Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore honor God with your body. So that verse right there, verse 19, was the main one I wanted to focus on. Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. But real quick, I wanted to touch on the sexual nature of this verse and kind of apply it to our modern living, because in America, where I live, prostitutes aren't a big epidemic. I know that, there's, probably people prostituting out there and stuff and all that jazz. But it's not like the big, act of sexual immorality that's probably very prevalent in the United States culture. I'm sure that in other countries that have, big prostitute problems can more directly relate to the wording in this. But Paul also just talks about sexual immorality as a whole, not just prostitutes and all that jazz. So that's point number one. Now point number two, this isn't supposed to be a judging, damnation type of reading today. It's more so just an advisory, I would say. Because, with things of that nature. You might feel one way in the present, and everybody says live in the present, but, you know, as Christians we say live for God, because it's good to be present, but maybe not so much living for the present, because you won't always feel the same way you do at one point in time. You won't always feel the same societal pressures that you feel now in the present moment, and the you from the future, granted, like, tragedy doesn't strike and you don't die an early death, you know, heaven forbid that happens, but you will not always feel the same way you felt in the present moment. You won't always feel the societal pressures. You might not always feel the same urges. So the you from the future could definitely appreciate, you know, restraint and godly living and cleanly living. Is a wiser off, better off you going to be happy or haunted by all these different experiences? I don't know. That's not for me to say. That's, you know, more so for you and your relationship with the Lord. I may need to start making these videos a lot longer because a lot of time has already gone by just talking about this little segment, which I didn't even want to cover the sexual nature of this verse. I wanted to talk about more like just verse 19, talking about how your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. In the Old Testament, not just anybody was allowed to step into like the tent, like the holy place of the tabernacle. Many of the, you know, as a band, the Jews were only allowed, the common folk were only allowed to go into the courtyard, and then the priests and Levites are the ones that could enter in the holy place, and then the most holy place.
What time is
so you shouldn't just put anything into your body. Like, I wanted to specify how you should be careful with your body in a sexual nature, but also in like a dietary nature, not just putting anything, any food in your body, but being careful, taking care of yourself, avoiding drugs, not being abusive with alcohol, like not having too much, which is a topic for another day, but just being mindful of what you put into your body, exercising and taking care of your temple of the Holy Spirit, because we are made in God's image, so we want to take care of that image and represent accordingly. Just because you can, or it's normal to be filling your body up with junk food, certainly does not mean that you should. So that's what I wanted to focus on today. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. You are not owned, so take care of yourself, man. Definitely uphold the health values of your own body, be it in a sexual, dietary, exercise manner. The time has kind of escaped me here, which is good. We're talking about good stuff here. But, yeah, basically, we're done with World War II. We are finishing up Modern Warfare Remastered right now, wrapping it up, aiming for our last clip on there, saying goodbye to Modern Warfare Remastered. And we're going to be moving on to Modern Warfare 3 2023, like the newest one, and Advanced Warfare. So yeah, look forward to that. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of the message. And God bless you guys. Peace out. I will see you next time.